Hello and good evening to everyone joining us for today's Agentcis Community Connect webinar, which is by agencies in collaboration with Opportunities Australia. Opportunities Australia, which is a body providing opportunities to different kinds of people, different sections of people. And we have the founder of Opportunities Australia, Kumar R Jha, today. Welcome to this Community Connect webinar, Kumar.
Thanks very much, Saurabh. Good to be here.
Thank you so much, Kumar. Before we start today's webinar on this interesting topic of how can education agents help international students on their employability, I might just ask Kumar to give a formal introduction of what Opportunities Australia is all about and what are you doing at Opportunities Australia, because I've been connected to you since like 2020 when I met you for the first time on a bushwalk, and then you founding a company, and then we organizing two big events last year for UNSW, and then many more things that came up. So would you like to give a formal introduction of what is Opportunities Australia?
I'll try. Thank you. Well, Opportunities Australia was started on 1st of July 2020. So it's been 1.5 years now. And Opportunities Australia was started to help out people from disadvantaged backgrounds. So our niche is refugees, migrants, indigenous, and long-term unemployed Australian. We also help out international students as well. The programs we run at Opportunities Australia are mentoring, job ready, jobs, and aspiring entrepreneur. So what we do at mentoring is we pair a mentee with a mentor in the same field, and we prepare the students or the job seeker in order to be job ready. So they are fully equipped, fully confident, and they can go out to an interview and go get the job. So, for example, a student from IT background, a bachelor's or master's student, would get a mentor, which is, say a VP at, Citibank or so. And then they would guide them ins and outs of the recruitment process of Australia, the culture, the nuances, how to prepare the CV to a level that you get hired, and to also help them out, in order to have just a great CV. So everything about finding a suitable job in the field. And if they could teach them something about the trade also, some few things about programming or anything, what's latest, what's the future about those kind of jobs. It's like, what's the future of IT jobs, right? So, anything these mentors could help those candidates out, they try the level best to help them out. To really make them fully capable to go get the job. So not only that we do mentoring, but we do job ready, and then after we try to provide jobs for people. We have got some corporate connections like Salesforce, OMD Media, and a few other. They take our candidates and they love to do that. So it's a newly established relationship, but it's a strong relationship, and we are proud of it. And besides that, there are some of the corporates like Deloitte and Ernst & Young. They come around and run job-ready programs as well, just like us, in that they give you ins and outs of the jobs in the industries, and they also help you out in order to make your CV to the highest level, to be accepted by the employer. So they would tell you, what are some of the key factors to include into your CV, so your CV is perfect, and and you would have no issues in order to get into the job. So that's what we do at Opportunities Australia. And a new program that we have launched towards the end of last year, which has been successful, which is called Aspiring Entrepreneurs. So we help out the startups in order to establish their businesses by helping out in the areas of HR, business plan, legal, finances, website, sales pitch. We also connect them with venture capitalists as well. So this is like a 360-degree help in order to establish startups businesses, and we provide these help in 8 weeks program, so 2 hours each week, so around 16 hours of program. And by the end of it, people are pretty much equipped in order to launch their business. So it's a nice crash course that we are trying to provide by help of all the professionals at Opportunities Australia. So we have got lawyers, chartered accountants, senior marketing professionals, etc., all involved. So we have a team of around 20 professionals to run this program. So proud to be running the second program in a couple of weeks now. So yeah, back to you.
Absolutely wonderful, Kumar. I think the kind of things that Opportunities Australia and you have been doing are simply remarkable, because it's not only helping the students, it's not only helping the indigenous communities, but it's about helping those different disadvantaged sections of the society and giving them more opportunities which probably they can't have. And you, as an organization or a company, are providing them those opportunities. So that's great to know. Now, coming back to today's topic, where we are discussing about how can education agents help international students on their employability. Now, you have been connected to a lot of international students of various universities in Australia and also other countries.
Yeah.
You yourself must have come through an education agent. What do you think about this topic in general, as to how you feel an agent can play a role in international students' lives?
Sure. I did come through an international, an agent. I did contact RDP, and there was another one out of New Delhi. So what I saw was they connected me through universities, but so their role was just to connect, just to get you an admission letter, and perhaps to help you in order to get the visa of Australia, and then you are here by yourself. Then there was no further help. My suggestion would be if they could help out in the career segment. So if they would have relationship with HR companies or mentoring companies, etc. Something of a program that in fact what we are running over here. So something to do with mentoring. Bit of coaching about the culture, soft skills, and then be able to connect you with job opportunities, etc. There are so many things that an agent could do. So if they have partnership with organizations over here in Australia, things would be much more simple. They could run certain things over there and overseas as well. But besides that, I think a successful program would be like having a partnership, locally. So those local companies would have full understanding of how the culture operates, how the CV should look like, what are the soft skills nuances, and what are the jobs like, who are the HR people. They would have the connections, so they could get some of the CVs in, they could get the internships in. All those relationships, they are crucial. Because when an international student comes overseas to a country like Australia, they got to learn a lot of things. When I first came, a lot of soft skills and connections and so on, I needed to make it by myself, and it takes time. And during that process, sometimes you got to do some sort of low level job, because you can't get to the role that you deserve, or role that you want. So which is a bit demoralizing. So if this is nicely structured, if there are organizations in place that those agents could partner up with, I think that would be a way forward, which can provide internships and jobs and mentoring and communication, skills to the students. So the students become job ready rather sooner than later, because it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of cultural differences. So there are so many things that our students need to learn to be actually equipped to be able to get a nice job in here. There are lots of expectations from international students, before they get to a nice job.
Yeah, and I think so. What do you think, Kumar, that international agents can do before the students from other countries they're arriving in Australia? Can they be better prepared before they are coming to Australia in terms of their employability?
Absolutely. Well, there are a lot of jobs in Australia in terms of businesses in Australia. Out of the entire business, 95% of them are startups. So they can always do a bit of a research, and as they come to Australia, Of course, they can go and look for work in a larger organization, the likes of Deloitte and Salesforce, etc. But if they can't find jobs over there, I mean, as I said, 95% of businesses are made out of startups. So they can always look into the startup hubs too, and they can go into the co-working spaces, shared spaces like Fish Burners, and Fish Burners is an example here in Sydney. So there are so many co-working spaces. Another one is WeWork, which is Australia-wide, and there are many hubs like that. So if they start to look into these kind of startup hubs where there are hundreds of businesses, operating, and great agendas, great ideas, and great growth rate too, and they are able to hire people, small businesses, but they still hire 10, 20 people. So these students would have good luck, better luck in working for these small organizations and actually learning from them. If you work for a bigger organization, you just have to do a certain small task, and that's it. So you'd be a taskmaster. But if you work for a smaller business, I mean, in fact, I have established two of them. So if you get to work in a smaller business, you would have a chance to be able to do other things as well. So be flexible, learn different trades as well, which is like invaluable. So when you are young, you need to learn all the trades. So maybe one day you could be a founder. You might want to start something of your own, a dream company of yours, right? So in order to start your own startup, you would have to learn the tricks. And who else could teach you than working for a startup? And if you could find a nice startup, which has a good track record and has done some years already in the business and established itself, maybe post 5 years or so, well, you'd be lucky. And besides that, go into networking events, join Meetup. That's an online event group from United States, but you can join Meetup groups and you can attend so many events even here in Australia. So yeah, I would definitely encourage that. I did join meetup groups, and I met you, Saurabh, doing a bushwalk. And there are so many startup hubs also. They are part of meetups, so they keep on organizing things, even bigger organizations and smaller ones. So there are so many things to do, so much networking to do. You can join business councils, networking hubs as well. So if you have joined a startup or a large organization, they join. They are always part of some sort of clubs, and business councils are definitely part of. Join as many clubs as possible. Do not miss any networking opportunities. Through networking, you get to know about work, you find work, you get to know about culture also, right? You've got to learn a lot about the culture. So when you come into these networking events, you learn from the local. You get to make friends from overseas as well. Australia is a very multicultural country, and people from the world live here. After being in Australia for 18 years, I have friends from pretty much, I mean, of course, all the continent. I can easily say that. And I have friends from, I would say 50 countries, right? I mean, it's not easier to say when I was living in India, which has got mostly, Indian people there. So Australia is very multicultural, and it gives you a chance to understand different cultures of the world, and befriend people from there. And there's so much to learn.
Absolutely, and networking plays a major role for you to meet new people outside of your comfort zone as well. Sometimes people don't want to meet people from other countries. This is what I experienced the most, and nobody really tells you about that. Even if education agents who are guiding students to the right universities, they can always guide on these little things which matter a lot for students when they actually arrive here, and they don't actually understand how it's impacting their professional life. So, for example, if somebody is coming from India, they will always want to talk to Indians. If somebody is coming from China, they will always want to stick with Chinese people. And that's where you start creating that first filter. And the second filter comes across when you say that I only want to go to meetings where they are talking about banking jobs. I only want to go to events where they are only talking about engineering jobs. So that's when we start creating those filters and just go to limited events. I think, do you have anything to say about that as to how an education agent can always guide in this direction, right?
Yeah, this is about educating about different cultures. So going back to India, like, some of the things I could think of is when in India, all I could think about, or all I have learned, and the experiences that I've had was to do with Indian culture, Indian food, Indian movies, Indian music, etc. And there were some, international things you get to watch, MTV, VTV, some of those channels. But majority of the things we get to do is to do with India. So maybe educational agents could start to prepare people, even while people are, say, for example, in India, they could give them a little bit of a guidance, like, these are things you could follow. I mean, perhaps while I was in India preparing for Australia, if I was told that, okay, go watch ABC Australia and SBS, they get to talk a lot about Australian things. So I could have, prepared a little bit, even accent training as well. So yeah, there is so much to learn, and if those educational agents can talk about these various things to prepare yourself to be more like an Australian person, and get to know, as many things as possible from the world and from Australia, I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been, learning so many things from you in terms of getting that Australian way of speaking and the Australian language, and you have been, teaching me those things, and how crucial are those things when you also go for applying for those jobs, because as they say that if you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. So
Mhm.
that's what the agents can also do. But one last question, Kumar, before we end today's podcast, is related to this fact that because you're working for Opportunities Australia, which is providing opportunities to students and other sections, and agents are also guiding the students. So, do you think there is any sort of collaboration that can happen between education agents and Opportunities Australia so that you can work together towards the common good?
We are always looking for collaboration. So if agents are looking to, have a partner in Australia in order to take students through mentoring program, job ready jobs, even aspiring entrepreneurs as well, helping the students out eventually to become an entrepreneur, well, we are always here to help them out. So we are a bunch of passionate volunteers. We have got entrepreneurs as well. We have 60 volunteers at the moment in different parts of Australia. So even if people are going to other cities like Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, etc., we do have people in those cities as well. So our end goal is to run programs properly, all of these programs in various cities that I just talked about. So yeah, absolutely, Opportunities Australia would love to have partnership with those agents, so we can help the international students out and actually take the pain away from those students, because I face the pain, and I have seen pain of various people as they come to Australia, and they are not familiarized with the culture, and it takes them several years to learn things, and meanwhile they get to drive taxis and do laboring jobs, etc. So, in order to equip themselves with the culture, something like what we do at our aspiring entrepreneur program is to help out a startup in order to learn everything about a business. Same thing we do for students to learn everything about the culture too. So we could match them up with the relevant people. Say, for example, a medical student could be paired up with a doctor, so they can talk about ins and outs of the job. But besides that, we could also talk about communication. We could also talk about the CVs, and then the culture as well. So many things we can teach the students, so they can be really equipped, and they can turn into more like an Australian person rather than just remain an Indian. Because rightly so, as you said, when in Rome, do what Romans do. So that's what Australians expect you to do. It's like to have a little bit of Australianism in you, and then you're laughing, then you're talking that you would have a good job, and you'd be invited into those special parties, and yeah, you'd have a good life. So you've got to maintain certain things. You've got to tick quite a few boxes before you come to that level. So yeah, we could always educate people to to come to that level.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you touched based upon, Kumar, was related to this fact that you're also helping new companies, the startups. In this sector also, international education sector also, we have a lot of new companies, new startups who are starting off their own agencies, new education agencies. Do you think Opportunities Australia can also play a major role in helping those new companies?
Absolutely. Well, that is our job, to help those companies out. And actually, all of these work that we do it free of charge. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that we are helping out all the companies in order to establish themselves well. We have team of lawyers, engineers, chartered accountants, marketing professionals, sales professionals, business professionals, IT professionals. So yeah, we have all those people out here at Opportunities Australia, and they can help out, collaboratively in order to really establish, people's startups and help them achieve their dreams. So yeah, we take pride in that, and we do have efficient people to be able to do that.
So, Kumar, our audience would also love to know more about the aspiring entrepreneurs in the Job Ready program that are coming up in February and April. Can you tell more about what those programs are and what are the benefits people are going to get from that?
So, as I mentioned, that aspiring entrepreneur helps out the startups in order to establish their businesses. So that program starts on 23rd of February. So in that program, we help out in areas like IT, HR, legal, marketing, business plan. So 360-degree of establishing your startup. And we don't charge anything for this. So it's a free of charge program for you. It's divided in 8 weeks. It happens on a weeknight. So most probably we'll be running that on Wednesday night between 6 to 8 p.m. So yeah, 8 weeks and 16 hours altogether. And towards the end of the program, on 22nd April, we have arranged a graduation for our candidates, which will happen in person. So people can join us from anywhere, probably in the world, but anywhere in Australia would be what we usually do. So this is a second program that we are running. In last program, we have had people from outside of Sydney also, like Brisbane, and they joined us virtually. So there could be a possibility we can take around 10% people from outside of Sydney. So we have been running our programs in the city of Sydney. These 8 sessions that we run it virtually. So people can attend that from their comfort wherever they are. So I hope I have clarified enough for this program, Saurabh.
Absolutely, Kumar. And probably you can touch base upon the success story of the program that we had in the last year. So we already organized one set of that in November, and it was pretty successful, which was organized in Sydney. So do you want to also touch base upon that? How well did it go, and what were the testimonials that you got out of that?
Sure. We had 26 candidates that joined us from different parts of Australia. Um, and there were lots of smart businesses. Very proud to have businesses like robotics and app for finding skin cancer, and restaurants and charities, etc. So fantastic startups who joined. And we had 250 people at the time of graduation. So that was a hybrid event. In person, we had around 100 people showing up, and 150 people joined us virtually. And we have had the honor to invite the Minister of Skills from our state. So yeah, that came, and then some successful CEOs also joined us. So that was fantastic. I've been part of St. Vincent de Paul, which is one of the largest charities of Australia. I invited the founder of one of the program of there, Vinny See You Sleep Out. They run events in that they make $50 million or something for that event, on that night. So that's a massive success, that person has created. His name is Bernie Fayon. Luckily, I did have a chat with him today. So it was a successful program. Lots of people turned up. Government got to know about that. The minister came to applaud. Minister provided minister as well as those chief guests provided the certification to the graduates as well. Everyone felt proud. Our mentors were also awarded. It was great to be able to award those mentors, by hand of the minister and other chief guests as well. All in all, that was a fantastic event, and there were great reviews post event. Everyone was very happy. Half of the people that didn't start the businesses before they started the course, so they started the businesses post the course, and they have used the information, the knowledge that they have gained from this course for the business, and they're very happy. And yeah, we are looking forward to helping them out in the future years as well. So it's not like we just help them out for 8 weeks and that's it, goodbyes. We will be with them throughout their journey. So majority of businesses are Sydney based, so it's easier to catch up with them, meet in person and brainstorm, etc. And for those businesses who I can't see in person, of course, I'm only a phone call or a Zoom call away. So it's very easy to help people out. So yeah, it's been a proud journey, and I'm very happy with that, and people have been happy as well. And this time we are trying to make it better. So we have got even great mentors and great venue, and yeah, we are tweaking the program in order to do it better. So yeah.
That's great to know, Kumar, because if you consider that as an organization coming up with that event for the first time, I see that it was it really gave good results, meaningful results to those people who are having new ideas in their mind, but they don't have any platform to go to. So you gave them a platform to not only pitch, but pitch in front of eminent guests like the NSW skills minister who had come in, and that gave them an opportunity to take their idea to the next level. And I'm also connected to the 8 people who presented their ideas on LinkedIn. Some of them messaged me as well, and I'm also happy to help them in any possible way, and provide any kind of support through Opportunities Australia, because I'm also a volunteer currently at Opportunities Australia. So we are also helping any kind of people through Opportunities Australia, so that they can get a better career. Thank you so much.
And I forgot to mention that we did also connect these candidates with Microsoft as well. So Microsoft came up with $500,000 Australian in order to help out the right candidates. So they have selected a few of them, and they are helping them out step by step. So very happy with that. And in future, we'll be connecting people with other venture capitalists as well. So that was one of the achievements that we have had. We are trying to get in more companies in there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kumar, for your participation today. I think it was a fantastic session where we learned a lot of new things from you for the students and also for the education agents, migration agents who might be listening to us after this session goes out on our different channels. And I hope that if any education agent wants to connect with Kumar, you can directly contact him through his LinkedIn profile. We will be tagging him on our post, so you can get in touch with him, understand how he can help you in your businesses. And also, if you are looking for a software to help you out, we are definitely there for you. Agencies is a CRM software for all the education migration agents. So if you want help in that, if you're looking for some sort of system where you can manage all your things instead of putting it on the Excel file and then manually managing it, you can always buy a CRM system which can provide you dedicated solutions towards your business. But thank you so much, Kumar. Any final remarks?
It's always an honor to come and talk to you. And besides that, I've been through the journey of being an international student, and then I've gone through some of the jobs that I shouldn't have gone through. But it's just a cycle. And then after, I started my company. So, if anyone wants to fast forward, actually, we do have, people, volunteers, as I mentioned, 60 of them right now, and the team continues to grow. Every week we have a new member. Um, so, yeah, those people who do want to have a better life and not have to go through all those painful points, do get in touch, and we'll try our level best, to help you to establish in Australia rather sooner. So yeah, that's all I can say, because we live the passion, and yeah, we work just as honestly as possible. And as I mentioned, that our services are free of charge as well. We are trying our level best to keep it free for the people in need, um, and help out as many people. So yeah, thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely, Kumar. And before we end, I just want to tell to everyone who might be listening to this is I have met so many people in Sydney, but if you want to really learn how to network with people, how to build relationships with people, I think definitely Kumar has got an expertise in that because I have seen him building those quality relationships and also network with people. So I think that's something which we can learn from him, and inculcate in our lives as an international student, because networking is important for us. And these are some things which we can learn from you, Kumar, because I think you have been doing a great job in that area.
Well, thank you. You're very kind, but I'm not that much of a networker, but I just try. But something that came to mind is LinkedIn has been very beneficial for me. So, I only started working on LinkedIn maybe 7, 8 years ago. And, in that period, I grew my LinkedIn, all the people I wanted to connect up with, and, all the big companies, CEOs, and the government ministers, etc., all rely.
Thank you so much, Kumar, for participating in today's webinar. And we hope that we can do more collaborative episodes between agencies and Opportunities Australia, where we can benefit our organizations as well as others in the society who might be watching this episode. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's an honor. Have a good night.